All right. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us for one of our quick tech webinars at ConnectALL. My name is Johnathan McGowan, and I am a solutions architect with ConnectALL. And what I like to do is talk a little bit about one of the measurements you can get when you start doing value stream management. Whenever you start taking a look at your processes and trying to identify really where your bottlenecks are and trying to improve your processes. So without further ado, we've got just a few minutes, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So I will go ahead and start sharing here. And we can go ahead and see that we've got, you see my screen, we've got something called a value stream management diagram here. And it all starts with this. At ConnectALL, we talk about several things. We talk about in managing your value stream, there's several important things you need to do. The first is to understand what you have. Okay, and you can do that with a mapping diagram like this. Actually, sitting down, you can go up to valuestreammanagement.com and do this for free. Sign up with an account, do this for free, and lay out really what you've got in your value stream. And we also talk about automating your value stream, helping flow the information back and forth between different applications according to your processes that you've laid out here. Then we also talk about measuring your value stream as well. And that measurement is a very important part because it lets you see how efficient your processes are. And let's go ahead and jump in. And what we're going to talk specifically today about is flow load, and really about the distribution of different work items across your value stream. And so whenever you start to measure the different parts of your value stream, you start collecting information from those different applications, and you start to harvest it here and get it all in one place, and you can kind of start telling a story about your processes over time. This is looking at information from multiple projects, from multiple applications, and it's been harvested from a couple of different project management and DevOps and release tools, and centralized right here into a common dashboard. But what you're able to do once you start harvesting that information is you can start developing or start creating these charts and graphs to really show you some more information, and start to dig into the why and the how, and the how are we doing, really, that kind of question. And so whenever we start getting into that, let's highlight a couple of things here to really understand how this customer is doing with their particular value stream. Now, what you're looking at here is we've already talked about throughput in previous webinars. I think in the last one we talked about throughput, and really understanding the importance of knowing how much you're getting done. Getting an idea of that velocity, seeing how much you're closing in each project in any given sprint. But then we want to take, that helps how quickly you're able to actually get things done, right? You can start pairing that with things like lead time and cycle time. But let's start asking some of the next questions. Is if the flow time is slow, or the throughput is slower than you expect, you want to start asking, well, why? Why is that flow time slower than we expect, that throughput? We can get a quick answer for that by looking at things like the flow load. Okay, so you have several different teams working in different projects, different parts of the organization, and they're doing things like fixing bugs, or developing new features, or handling incidents, or responding to change requests, and those kinds of things. And you have different people assigned to all this different work, these different teams doing all this different work, right? And understanding, like I said, that throughput is important and how fast you're able to get those things done. But you also want to look at the balance of work. You also want to look at what's actually being worked on. In this case, we have two different projects that are being looked at, and we're looking at different things like the bugs and the risks and the stories and the tech debt that's been identified in each of these different projects. And you can see here over the last year, it looks like there was probably a process change right in here around early August that really ramped this up and started to capture this information. Maybe a process change allowed them to fit in more work, or allowed them to focus on smaller bits. Maybe they started decomposing their work into more manageable chunks, and that's what enabled them to get more done over particular periods of time. So you can actually look in here, and you can see this is color coded between each of these different work item types. But then we look over here into something like escape defects. It's great to see that we're working on stories and bugs and tech debt, but then take a look over here in the escape defects and actually get an idea of, okay, well, finding bugs is good, but we shouldn't have as many bugs. Where are they coming from, right? Where are the bugs coming from? And this is actually taking a look at whether or not bugs are found in production, or whether they're found in a QA scenario. So you can differentiate between the two of them. You can see that this is pretty good. More bugs are being found in QA over time than are found in production. So that's actually a good sign, right? That the QA process is doing its job and resolving most of the issues before they actually make it out to production. The things that are actually found in production over time are kept at a minimum, because the QA team is doing a great job of resolving those. But still finding bugs is it's there's a philosophy, I guess, that can go in there. You do want to find bugs, you don't want to fix bugs. That is very important. But there's the whole question about, why do we have bugs? If you think about your teams that you're working with, okay, you start thinking about you have your all-star team, right? Who's been around for working on the product for the last 5 or 6 years, and they've really helped the product grow and mature. But if they're and then you have other development teams alongside them too, so you have multiple teams working on the same stuff. Imagine if you could take that all-star team, and rather than having them fix bugs all the time, you had them working on new development, right? You can actually take that all-star team and put them put their knowledge and their expertise to good use, and have them working on new things, new cutting edge things that keep you differentiated from your competitors, for example, keep you new and interesting. If you have your all-star teams working on bugs all the time, then that's really kind of non-value added work. Yes, it's important to fix the bugs, but they're not bringing new value. They're not bringing new things to the marketplace, right? They're just fixing things that, arguably probably shouldn't have been broken to begin with. So the idea here is that you've got, we can take a look a little bit closer into that story by looking down here at the distribution, and actually getting a comparison down here of stories versus bugs. And you can see for sure that there are a lot, your teams are spending a lot more time fixing bugs than they are in delivering new features. Okay, that's a lot of time spent on non-value added work. That's a lot of time spent not working on the cutting edge new things, right? You can start getting an so that's a pretty big indicator that something has to change. What kind of process improvements can you add to reduce the amount of bugs that are not necessarily identified? Because yes, of course you want to identify them, but how do you improve the code quality? What sort of practices can you implement to make sure that your code is quality code? Or could it be security issues? What processes, what training can you give your teams to make sure that their code is better? Or is it just that, again, you've got your all-star team working over here on this stuff and trying to firefight in the bug area so much, and maybe that work needs to be offloaded elsewhere, right? So there's lots of different questions that you can begin to ask just by seeing these handful of metrics and getting an idea of these handful of graphs shown here. And this is a pretty simple thing just to pull in into our Insights dashboard. And now this comes with ConnectALL with ConnectALL Insights. This is part of our starter set. You're able to, whenever you start collecting information with insights, you can get up and running with this pretty quickly. It all goes through our common data model, and you set a few things up, and then bam, you start collecting these sorts of metrics. I could go on and on, but it is a short webinar today. We do have a lot of other things that can be discussed here, of course. But I hope I've piqued your interest a little bit and give you an idea of what you can start to track and how you can start to measure the effectiveness of your teams and to get an idea of where they're spending their time. So again, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your time. If you do have any questions, or if you'd like to know more about ConnectALL, feel free to reach out to us at sales@connectall.com, and we will look forward to hearing from you and talking about how value stream management can help you. I hope you have a great day, and again, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions.